So there's a giant elephant in the room regarding your new watered down, dumbed down Toyota LandCruiser coming to America. And that is quite simply the fact that it is a 4-cylinder turbo hybrid. Emphasis on that hybrid part, because what's going to bring many LandCruiser buyers a ton of anxiety potentially is the fact that that hybrid battery, following Murphy's Law, is going to die right about the same time the turbocharger on that 2.4 liter turbocharged engine dies. So at about 150,000 miles or so, most people think, the turbo's going to die on that LandCruiser and probably the hybrid battery at the same time. Boom, you're stuck with a huge repair bill. So today, we're going to try to talk about some important issues here. Now, quick disclaimer, this is all for fun. Toyota is awesome. We're just keeping it thought-provoking here. Now, let's jump right into it. The hybrid battery system on the new LandCruiser coming to America brings a lot of people anxiety. We know batteries don't last forever. We know hybrid batteries need to be replaced at a certain point. Obviously, the million-dollar question is when. Is it going to last 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles, or is it going to last 400 and 500,000 miles? Now, we hear anecdotes about the Prius batteries that exist in Toyota's Synergy Drive hybrid systems for years now. So Toyota warrants them in California at least for 150,000 miles. Outside of California, 100,000 miles. We hear anecdotes, again, they last 100,000 miles, they last 600,000 miles. The general consensus on the internet, again anecdotal, is they're going to last you at least 150,000 miles. But to many people, that's simply not enough, especially if you're going to get a top-tier flagship Toyota LandCruiser. Toyota built its reputation on reliability and longevity. So how in the world is this new hybrid LandCruiser battery going to last the quote Toyota, in other words, how is this going to live to the quote Toyota benchmark of going 1 million miles without any worries? Well, here's the thing. Believe it or not, the Toyota hybrid battery inside the new LandCruiser is completely different from most other Toyota batteries, and that's what we're going to kind of dig into right now. In a nutshell, it's the battery you're getting in your LandCruiser is not the battery, the lithium-ion pack in your Toyota Prius, nor is it the nickel metal hydride in, let's say, my new Toyota Sienna minivan. It's like a 2022, they're all hybrids now. That's a nickel metal hydride battery. It's not that battery either. The battery you get in your LandCruiser is a special bipolar nickel metal hydride battery. What does that mean? In a nutshell, it's less resistance inside the battery, and it's lighter, and it can send the charge quicker, okay? If that didn't sound interesting to you, it's not. The point of this rambling and the point of highlighting that it is indeed a special battery unique to just a few applications, the whole point of that is to highlight the probability that Toyota is taking this battery thing to the next level. Quick history, this new bipolar nickel metal hydride battery debuted on the Lexus NX and a few years back, and it was specifically for this 2.4 turbo hybrid type of setup. If we look at where Toyota has placed this battery, we can see that it's something special to them. Furthermore, they're marketing this bipolar battery as something that is, quote, groundbreaking. Now, can we prove it's groundbreaking? Can we prove it's going to last forever? Of course not. Nobody can. Only Toyota knows that. Only they've torture tested it. And of course, they're not going to release the actual numbers. So what can we infer then from the fact that it's a special new type of battery? What we can infer simply is that Toyota chose to raise the bar and step up their hybrid battery game, making it a different battery from the Prius and all the rest of the Toyota hybrids, and putting it on their top tier models, the Crown, the NX, and now the LandCruiser. So we can deduce that there's probably a good chance that this new battery is not just about higher energy flow and being lighter and having more capacity and better efficiency. I betcha if Toyota is still being Toyota, that their goal, their true benchmark here was to make that battery last a long, long time, longer than its predecessors. So this is one of those trust Toyota moments, and you're going to be in one of three camps. The first one is Toyota is not going to dare risk their global reputation for reliability. The camp over here is going to say Toyota sold out, they're making cheap junk now, and they're out to screw you. And then there's somewhere in the middle, which is Toyota still makes good stuff, but not like they used to. They're not that million-mile type of car company anymore. So it's my guess, and of course this is just a guess and a theory, you decide. It's my guess that this new bipolar battery, the true intentions behind it were to make it last forever. In other words, to live up to flagship standards, which again is why we see it placed first on a Lexus, the NX, then the Toyota Crown, which is their flagship, and now all their flagship vehicles, the US Landcruiser. So I mentioned earlier that Murphy's Law says that the battery and the turbo on your new Landcruiser are going to break at the exact same time. That's everybody else's worry. The turbos aren't going to work. And we're going to apply the same logic to the turbo anxiety here to this kind of new battery technology. When we see Toyota start from the drawing board, start from scratch, we can presume that something good is about to happen. And you see the same thing with this turbo cylinder 2.4 liter engine on your Landcruiser. Everybody says the same thing. Turbos don't last, it puts more stress on the engine, it's not going to work, blah, 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 blah. Yes, you know, everybody knows. Here's the thing. This wasn't an afterthought. Toyota took a blank piece of paper here. And the additional stresses added to the turbocharged engine that you're going to see in this Landcruiser were engineered into that engine since the beginning. In other words, it was quite simply engineered to last and take the beating of the higher stresses of a turbo. Now that takes care of that. Now what about the turbo itself? Turbos don't last, everybody knows that. That's kind of an American thing. In the world market, Toyota has been making turbos since the 1980s at least. And turbocharged engines are in world market Landcruisers.
At last, the legend goes turbo. Because you never know when you'll need Landcruiser Turbo Power. Direct injection makes it the most powerful vehicle in its class. The power, the performance, and the handling that puts you in control.
Direct injection turbo? What a charge!
Turbo Power.
Again, their flagships have always had turbocharged engines, and you'll hear anybody in the world market say, turbocharged Toyota engines in the world market last forever. So did Toyota raise the bar here, or are they lowering it? Their reputation is built upon that longevity, and while we can't prove anything, of course, but we can, again, interpolate that they're going to risk a lot by getting rid of that longevity reputation. So the turbos shouldn't be a worry, nor should the batteries. This is all a ground-up system. It's all engineered from the ground up. And it's highly, highly likely that Toyota is going to surprise everybody here. So nobody can prove if this stuff is going to last forever. We just have to take an intelligent guess and say that Toyota didn't change. It's totally understandable to be anxious about new technologies. We hear it's a hybrid, oh boy. How could you put a hybrid in a Landcruiser? The turbos don't last, the batteries don't last, the motors, it's more complex, blah, blah, blah. Toyota already knows that. Since their reputation depends on this thing lasting forever, it's highly likely that it will. And again, we can see now, if you step back and take a look at the big picture, you'll see that your LandCruiser doesn't come with a plain old Toyota battery. It comes with the world's first bipolar battery that Toyota calls groundbreaking, and I think they're being humble there. If we look at the turbos and the history of the Toyota turbos, we already know they last forever. As far as the mechanisms within the hybrid transmission, it's 2 more wet clutches made by Aisin, who already has made clutches in the Toyota's transmissions that already have been proven to last 1 million miles. And the motor itself is made by Denso, and we know Denso can make motors that last forever. Okay, remember, this is just for fun. This is just food for thought. It's just ramblings. It's just being thought-provoking. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great, great day.